Hello, how's everybody doing? Hello, how are you doing and what are you getting into? This is Alina S. Brown. So, hello everybody, how are you today? Just gonna wait and see if anybody's available tonight, see if anybody's on here tonight. That's what I'm gonna do, see if anybody's on here tonight. Hello, ladies. How are you doing this evening? Today's topic is vulnerability versus familiarity, which is something that's really important, especially for people who are actually leaders or in business or that sort of thing. So there's a saying that says, where is this showing my face? There's a saying that says familiarity breeds contempt. There is a saying that says that, and it says, the more familiar you become with the person, the more contemptible the people can be. So you become too familiar with people. But I'm just going to wait on here. So if you like the video, just like, heart it up. Don't forget to share, and don't forget to tell a friend. For those who don't know me, I'm Alina S. Brown. So today I'm just going to be brief. I'm talking about familiarity versus vulnerability. Usually when you're in leadership, or if you're in business, or if you work with people, or if you're even in a relationship, it could be a friendship, it could be a family member. I noticed that sometimes people who are in leadership positions, they don't really show you their vulnerable side, how vulnerable they can be, how they feel about things. They don't really open up to people. And I know why. Because let me just go over vulnerability. Vulnerability means being susceptible to being open and wounded or hurt. To allow yourself to be, somebody use you as a weapon. Open to moral attack. You're open to criticism. You're open to temptation. I'm looking on my phone, my notes over here. You're open to assault. And it's difficult. You put yourself in a position where you'll be difficult to defend. So that means you have to open yourself up to people. And a lot of times, I know it's a lot of leaders, a lot of ministers, a lot of people in business. When people work closely with them, they don't show their vulnerable sides. They don't show their triggers. They don't show different things about them. And I know why, because when you start to show your triggers, when you start to show your true feelings about situations and things, people have a tendency to lose respect, so to speak. It's almost like being on an auction and now your value goes down. Your value is not the same. Your value goes down when you are vulnerable with the wrong people, or you're vulnerable with people. So a lot of times you can see people that are working side by side with leaders, and leaders won't show their triggers. They won't show what ticks them off. They won't show what actually causes them to shed tears. They won't show a lot of sides of themselves. They'll be emotionless because they know that the minute that they start showing you who they really are and they present themselves in a certain type of way, people become too familiar. And there is a quote, I forgot, some famous person wrote the quote, and it says, familiarity breeds contempt. Which means that the thing that you become familiar with and you become to know is the same thing that you find to be contemptible. People have a tendency to lose respect for that thing which they have become familiarized with. It's almost like a person getting a new car, getting new something. Oh, they're so happy when they first get it at first because it's new. But the minute they know the ins and outs of the car, they know the ins and outs of a job, they know the ins and outs of a business or stuff, they don't treat it the same way they did when it was new. They become so familiar with it too. It's almost like some things become contemptible that you are actually too familiar with. So familiar means to be commonly or generally known or seen, well acquainted, thoroughly conversant, unduly intimate, too personal, taking liberties, and presuming, becoming presumptuous. So you kind of like think you know the person to the point where your conduct, you think they're very predictive. You actually find some things about them to be despised. The things that they show you that makes them open and vulnerable. Hello, sweetheart. How you doing? Sugar lump? How you doing? Look at Mama Coco. Alrighty. And so like you ever had a girlfriend, you had a friend, and you like when you first got friends, they was like real cool with you. They respected you. They had boundaries and they treated you certain kind of way. But then you start opening up and saying, oh, I'm having problems with my man, or my son don't act right, or my children doing this, or I'm having this. So you show them a vulnerable side that you don't show other people because they're close with you. And you start to be vulnerable and they know things about you that others don't know. A lot of times the vulnerable side that you show to people makes them find you contemptible. Familiarity breeds contempt. There's a fine line there. So now I see why a lot of times leaders keep people at bay. They only let them get so close, even when they train, even when they mentoring, even when they teaching. They don't really get real. Because the more real you become, the more easy it is for people to think they know you in a way too familiar where they can you lose your value. It's like your auction goes down. You were at $1 million, but now that I think I know you, you like 100,000. So your value goes down. And the key thing, I'm saying this because relationships are very important. Friendships are important. Girlfriends, sisterhoods are important, and family is important. The family that you have, then the family that God gave you. God gives people a family. And I'm saying this because people don't really understand the extent to which you disrespect something could actually be something that God was using to catapult you or bless you in a way that you didn't even know anything about. So relationships, you can be made by a lot of things. Your attitude, your relationships, your motives, your thoughts, and your decisions can make you or break you. Your attitude, your relationships, your motives, your thoughts and decisions can make you or break you. And I'm on a relationship one tonight. So don't take your friends for granted. If you get close with someone and you think you know them, don't know them to the point where you think you could just disrespect them and cross the boundary. Because no matter what you think about what they're doing, no matter what you think about how they may be expressing themselves, it's always good to back away before disrespecting them and disregarding them. Another thing I want to talk about is false strength. People don't always understand. I said something today when I was with some people, and I said, I'm really shy. And the person said, now that's a lie. That's one thing that you're really not. And I thought to myself, they don't really know me. I do seem to be an extrovert, but my children would tell you I like sitting in the corner reading a book. When I get off here, I'm about to be reading a book. I love to be alone. I love to read books. So I come on here every day because as women, I want to inspire. I believe that I'm called to impact, inspire, and actually help women to enhance and empower their lives in life and in business. You know, if I could say something that can trigger you to do better, if I could say something that can trigger you to go from a relationship that may be not serving you, or if I can trigger something that would help a gift inside of you to be resurrected, and you say, oh, I can go move towards my destiny, then me getting on here is worth it. And so the point I'm making is some people think, oh, they know me. Like, oh, no, you're not. I laugh and I joke and I do things. But when I have to speak or when I have to do things, I sell a lot too. And I seem to really love it. And I sell like butter, like it's so easy. But I get nervous. And I think Chanel knows that. She's not on this call right now. I was at her house doing videos. She would have to turn her fans on and everything because the minute I go live, I get really, really nervous. So people think I just flow and I just talk. And I could talk and I could do this and that. I seem to be very bubbly. But on the inside, I'm actually having to overcome some things. So I'm saying this to tell you, don't always judge a book by its cover. I smile a lot, but people don't realize that they can really hurt me deeply. Like I had someone, I'm very open to people. I'm a person that's easy to entreat. And I'll talk with any and everybody. But that doesn't mean that it's okay to just say whatever you want to say to me because I'm open. Now, I'm going to share a testimony. There used to be a part of me, I used to fight a lot. If something happened to my daughter, she would say, oh, don't tell mama. Don't tell mama what that person did because mama about to go off. That was because I feel like that I've already exerted so much love and so much joy and so much stuff towards you. But then when you would cross me to a certain point, wouldn't be no talking. I just would get busy. That's what I used to do back in the past. And God delivered me for that. And I know what that came from. That came from what I experience now. Being smiling to people, being open with them, being vulnerable, showing them the real. When you deal with me, you're going to see the real. But that does not mean it's okay to just say whatever you want to say to somebody because they're being nice to you or because they're helpful or because they're considerate. They seem like they shrug everything off. I seem to be real strong. Like, oh, I told someone the other day, I said, that hurt my feelings. They said, well, whatever. I know a time where I would have snatched them. But I just said, I'm serious. It really did hurt my feelings. And they're like, are you serious? I was like, absolutely, I'm serious. And so she said, oh, I just think you to be so strong. So strong what? That you could just say whatever you want to say to me? And it's okay. I love that scripture, Psalm 119, 165. Great peace have them which love my law, and nothing shall offend them. So every day I say I'm unoffendable. I am unoffendable. I am unoffendable. I'm undefendable. I'm untouchable. I'm unoffendable. I'm unflappable. I say that because that's something I have to make myself remember. I have to recognize that people are going, when you're open to people, when you're vulnerable, you're going to cause people are just going to think that they can say and do whatever they want to do to you. But there's times I can nicely put people in their place. The point I'm trying to make is that familiarity sometimes breeds contempt. Be careful who you open up to. Be careful who you become vulnerable with. Everybody cannot handle that level of responsibility. So with vulnerability becomes responsibility. So if a person is vulnerable with me, what I do with that information, what I do about their openness, what I do with about their triggers, what I do with the things that they're passionate about or the things that actually make that they're weak in, what I do with that information is responsibility. When people are vulnerable, there is a responsibility that you have to not only keep the information, but not to use it against them. And so when you think that you know the person because they've given you their vulnerable side, does not mean that you should just be so familiar till you cross the lines of disrespect. Because that same thing that same thing that helped you, you need to honor. Friendships, real people showing up in your life are not easy to come by. And that's something that needs to be honored. And I share this with women. If you're in a relationship, if you are contemplating a relationship, make sure it's somebody you can be vulnerable with. Because if that person cannot handle vulnerability, that's a responsibility. If they will use your weakness against you at a time that they're angry or a time when they're not feeling it or they're not feeling a certain type of way, then you know that you don't really have a friend. You have an enemy in the camp. And an enemy in the camp is much more destructive than an enemy on the outside. I'm going to say that again. An enemy within is much more destructive than an enemy without. So think about this. Who are you holding in contempt? Who have you taken for granted? Is it your friend? Is it your spouse? Is it your sister, your brother? Is it someone that's close with you and they're vulnerable and they're showing you their weak side? They're showing you their triggers and different things about them. Are you using that responsibly? Or you just disregard them and cross over boundaries? So I wanted to share that with you. Because even people that seem like they're extrovert, and I'm going to tell you guys, I'm not. But I might seem like that, but I'm not. And even if a person is friendly, does not mean that they're not shy. So what I'm saying is, on the outside, we may seem to be one thing, but on the inside, you don't know what leaps and bounds we had to go through, grow through, to overcome so that we can be a contribution to the world. Peace and blessings. Thank you for watching. Please share the video and please like. Bye-bye.